Rome wasn't built in a day. Cliché? Yes. True? Also yes. See, it takes time to build something great. Can you imagine if the Romans were like, nah, we're done, after a week? Building a prime credit score also takes some time, but it doesn't have to take years. In fact, I've got a simple process to get you to a score of up to 700, maybe even a little bit more, practically overnight, just 12 months for anyone new to credit. I'm Jonathan, and this is Prime Time. Calculating a credit score is, to say the least, really complicated. Thankfully, building a healthy credit score can be really simple. In fact, you could grow your score from no score to prime in just 1 year. That's a bold statement, so I thought I'd let our legal department gut check us. Now I'm going to walk you through my 3-step process on how to build credit fast. I'm also going to tell you why it works and give you very practical ideas on how to do it. At the end of the video, I'll also give you an extremely powerful shortcut, EPS for short. So let's get right to it. The 3 steps are deceptively simple. First, get a small credit account, make only one small charge on the account every month. Pay the account in full, on time, every month. Second, get a second small credit account and do the same thing. Finally, get a third small credit account and do it all again. I suspect you have a lot of questions right about now. And I'm sure one of them is, but won't opening a bunch of new accounts negatively affect my score? And the answer is yes. Opening a bunch of new accounts could likely cause your score to drop. I pinky swear we'll explain that later. Moving on. So let me explain how all this credit building stuff works. I'm sure you've seen charts like this before. It's like reading Greek, right? Confusing and complicated. There are 5 factors to a credit score? What do they mean? How are each of these calculated? Should I be working on each one of those categories to have a strong credit score? Well, time out. The reality is this. All of these are just estimates. Calculating a credit score is a complicated process because every possible scenario in a country of 300 million people needs to be taken into account, which means getting a single score isn't as simple as 2 + 2 = 4. The good news? You don't need to know all the details on how to calculate a credit score. There's really only one key factor. Wait for it. I said wait for it. On-time payments. The rest are just details. That's it. On-time payments. All you really need is a history of making on-time payments, no late or missing payments, and no defaults. The credit score people figure that if you've always paid your bills before, you're almost certain to continue paying them. You have earned your credit worthiness, and that means you'll have a good credit score. So all you have to do is make payments, a lot of them over time, and have them reported to the credit bureaus. What's really interesting is that the size of the payment doesn't actually matter. Making $1,000 payments every month doesn't do any more for your score than making a $10 payment on time. And because payments are the most important thing in a credit score, you need enough of them to show a pattern. It's called a payment history. Focusing on this key factor allows you to manufacture payments. Make those payments and watch those payments build your credit. By making as many on-time payments as you can quickly, you build a good credit score. Oh look, it's time for a Dear Jonathan letter. Dear Jonathan, in theory, wouldn't having 100 accounts and making payments on all of them do more to build a credit score fast? In theory, yes, having 100 accounts and making payments on all of them could build your score quickly. But remember earlier, even just opening them can leave a mark. Even if that mark is short-lived, usually lasting just a few months to a year. But one exception, if you have no credit score, you can't see a drop in a credit score. But there's another danger in this. Open too many of them, and it's likely you'll slip up by accident, and that's never good. In general, the reason to do any of this is to make small payments over time, a lot of the time. Don't lose sight of that. When my team and I studied 1 million credit files, we found that just 3 credit accounts are best. More than that didn't help as much. Plus, you need to make payments over time to build the pattern. 1 or 2 months doesn't create a pattern of on-time payments, but 12 months does. Following this process using just 3 accounts will put 36 on-time payments on your credit report with 0 missed payments. Of course, you might be thinking there are a bunch of issues with this approach. I can't get a credit account because I don't have credit. I don't want to get into trouble with credit cards. And I don't want to pay interest. Now, these are real concerns. So let me tell you a good way to execute the plan while avoiding these risks. You need to pick the right kinds of credit accounts and have a plan on how to use them. People with no credit score or troubled credit history can have 2 types of credit available: credit building loans and secured credit cards. Lenders offer these 2 options to most people who apply because there's little risk to the lender. Here's how a credit builder loan works. A lender, like a bank or a credit union or a finance company, gives you a small loan for $500 to $2,000. But instead of giving you the money, they put it in a savings account. You make payments on this loan, paying a little bit of interest, while the lender reports your payments to the credit bureaus. At the end of the loan term, the lender hands the money over. It's a plan that builds both credit and savings. Now, secured credit cards are cards designed for people with little or no credit. You put a deposit down and get a credit limit on the card for that amount. To get the benefit to your credit score, you have to make payments on that card. But that doesn't mean you have to carry a balance. A single charge every month, paid in full before your due date, will count as a payment. It's important not to make a lot of charges on this card, even if you plan to pay it off in full every month. You never want to use much of the available credit. Remember, it doesn't matter how small the payment is. A payment is a payment, as long as you are paying at least the balance that is due. And for credit cards, preferably the whole balance. In fact, the best thing to do is to put a small and recurring bill on this card, say a streaming movie subscription, and then set up auto pay so that you never forget to pay the card. Then put the card away and avoid using it for anything else. It becomes an engine, churning out on-time payments. You don't even have to think about it. This is how to build credit with a credit card. But hold on, we're not done yet. Make sure all those on-time payments are being reported to the big 3 credit bureaus. When you're searching for a secured card or a credit builder loan, it won't build your credit if they're not reporting to the credit bureaus. Most do, but not all. So you gotta double check first. Another watch out. You don't want to turn that credit card into a way of getting into debt. So don't carry it around with you. And as long as you are paying the total balance before the due date, you will never pay interest. There's more. Remember how I said the size of the payment doesn't really matter? There's another reason to keep that payment really small: utilization. Your credit utilization is the amount of your available credit you currently use. The lower your utilization, the less likely you will be unable to pay. That means a higher credit score for you. Low utilization is rocket fuel to your payment plan. I've told you about how to build a payment history and a prime credit score. You make payments every month without fail, and you keep your account balances low. You ready for the secret shortcut? You can actually piggyback off someone else's payment history. You can literally borrow their payment history. You do that by becoming an authorized user. Your mom, your Aunt Emma, heck, even granddad can help you if they have the right type of credit card. An authorized user is just what it sounds like. You become authorized as a user of that person's credit card. The credit card actually will give you a card as well, and the entire history of that credit card will be added to your credit report. In theory, an 18-year-old could have a 20-year payment history if they are added as an authorized user on a card that has been open that long. Don't just get added to any old card though. You need one with a history of at least 3 years without any missed payments and with a low utilization rate. Remember, if you're an authorized user, everything on that history becomes yours. Good, bad, ugly, and beautiful. Another thing, you don't have to use the card, and I think you probably shouldn't. Just leave the new card with Emma and thank her for the great gift, a better credit score. Time to recap. Get a small credit account. Make only one small charge on that account every month. Pay it in full on time every month. Get a second small credit account and do the same thing. Get a third small credit account and do it all again. You got this. But hey, if you ever think, I don't got this, don't worry. Head over to elevate.com and take the Score 40 quiz. It's a quick and easy Q&A that can help you find the most important steps to improving your credit score. Plus, it's free. I'll put the link in the description below. I'm Jonathan. Thanks for tuning into Primetime. If you have any credit-related questions that you want us to tackle in a future video, post them in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.